Welcome to Greenwich Village. My name is Michael Karp, and the Susie Guides have asked me to show you a bit around my neighborhood. This neighborhood is so complicated, is so layered, is so wonderful that, believe me, it would be all day. You'd be here with me all day if I really wanted to show you everything. But I can show you some of the nice things about Greenwich Village, past, present, and future, that'll help you when you're visiting New York City. I guess Greenwich Village is known to most people in America as America's left bank. It's a place where artists and writers congregated for most of the 20th century. And since the 1950s, they generally have hung out in places like this, the Esperanto Cafe. This is a real Greenwich Village coffee house. The kind of places that Dave Van Ronk, Joan Baez, Bob Dylan would hang out in the late 50s and the early 60s. And in fact, they did hang out at this space. This used to be the Fat Black Pussycat. Before that, it was the Bucket of Blood. A lot of the old places are still viable. Cafe Waa, that goes back to the 1960s, the early 60s, when Bob Dylan made his first public appearance. Actually, Jimi Hendrix also made his first public appearance there as well. The old is still present in Greenwich Village. Of course, Greenwich Village roots go far deeper than just the folk music revival of the 50s and 60s. They go all the way back to the huge wave of Italian immigration of the 1800s. And when you're in Greenwich Village, an Italian restaurant is the place to be, like Monty's Trattoria, started in 1918. These are huge meals, big meals, the kind your grandmother makes you if she thinks you're looking skinny. The wonderful thing about this neighborhood is that the past, the present, and the future all coexist within a couple of feet of each other. For example, right next to a traditional Italian pastry, Rocco's, which is terrific, is the future of cuisine in New York City. Asian, New York hot dog and coffee. Now, hot dogs and coffee, I understand it, sounds a little suspect. Two odd tastes. But when you go in there and taste the hot dogs, doesn't matter what you're drinking them with, they're the best in New York City. Let's go inside and take a look, see what they're up to. How are you, Sandy?
I'm good, how are you?
Now, what have you got there?
This is the bulgogi hot dog. It's Korean barbecue beef on top of a 100% beef hot dog, and it's actually our most popular item. Everyone really enjoys it a lot.
Why did you choose hot dogs?
Well, hot dogs are the quintessential American food, so we decided why not, stir it up a little bit, a little twist, and make it a Korean fusion hot dog.
And why did you open the store in Greenwich Village?
So diverse, there's so many wonderful people, so many different people, and we wanted to get them to embrace our product because our product is very different, just like the people that live here.
The Palma restaurant is a really good example of why people often call Greenwich Village the neighborhood of hidden treasures. Behind this wonderful restaurant is a back house. Like there are many back houses in Greenwich Village, behind the buildings you can see from the street. This house dates to 1801, I have been told. It's the original coach house from the days when this was a small family farm right here in the midst of what is now Greenwich Village. Let's take a look at that coach house because it's rented out for private parties by Pierre and Palma, who own and run Palma. Wow. See, behind most of these buildings are actually courtyards very much like this one and back houses. And this was not only due to the early development and kind of buildings being built in front of the old houses, but also tenements had the same thing. But this, of course, building, this really predates the tenements. You notice these are the original hand-hewn beams, the original ceiling, the original fireplace. Everything here is just about as it was in 1801. And of course, you really can't beat it for atmosphere. Everything's served by candlelight, even in the afternoon, because it's dark back here. And it's an experience you really don't want to miss when you're visiting Greenwich Village. Although the rest of the house has been altered through various incarnations and owners, this floor is left pretty much as it was in 1801 when the coachman and his family lived here. As you can see, it's just like dining 2 centuries ago. Now, Palma tells me at this harvest table she has here, she has an extension. With that extension, she can seat 18 people comfortably. And then she told me, these are her words, not my idea, 22 people if they're all dating. I told her that's the party I want to go to. The food here, by the way, is terrific. Centro Vinoteca actually is a restaurant that looks both forward and backward to Greenwich Village cuisine and history. Now this is an Italian restaurant, which is a Greenwich Village tradition, but actually it's not a traditional Italian restaurant. All the dishes that are developed here are developed in their kitchens. You get one-of-a-kind Italian foods made with traditional Italian food materials. And the decor also reflects the futuristic feel of this place. It's not an old-fashioned Italian restaurant. Actually, the whole layout of the place reminds me of an old supper club, one of the wonderful old nightclubs that we used to have here in Greenwich Village, most of which are gone. And if you get here, by the way, on a Friday or Saturday night, I will give you a tip. This is a hangout for supermodels and supermodel wannabes. Supermodel wannabes are close enough for me. Well, we have just touched the tip of the iceberg of what you can do, what you can see, and how you can live in Greenwich Village. If you'd like to take a wonderful walking tour, please join me and my fellow guides at www.foodsofnewyork.com for a 3-hour tour of tastings, 3-hour tour of history, architecture, and as you can guess, a lot of lame jokes. I hope you've enjoyed this little visit to my neighborhood, a neighborhood that has nurtured me for these many years. And I tell you what, if you actually get in touch with this website, okay, call me. We'll go on another tour. Next time I'll take us all to the dirty places, okay? Good night.